As, part 3. Now with as, you can use an adverb. So an adverb plus as. Let's talk about some different adverbs that we use with as. Now, the first one let's talk about is almost or nearly. Now, many students have learned that almost and nearly are almost the same. They are almost the same. They're not the same. Okay, let's look at some differences. But first, let's look at a sentence where, okay, same meaning. I am almost as old as my wife, or I am nearly as old as my wife. Totally the same meaning. Now look here. This is a positive sentence, right? So actually, I am 37 and my wife is 39. Okay, it's not true, but it's close, right? I'm 37, my wife is 39, so I am almost, or I am nearly as old as her. Now, I am not almost as old as my wife. Okay, so let's look at a negative sentence. Now, negative sentences, almost as and nearly as, have a different meaning. I am not almost as old as my wife. What does this mean? Well, it's just a simple negative sentence. Almost as old as my wife? No, that's not true. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're not right. Maybe I'm the same age, right? Maybe I'm older. So I'm not almost as old as my wife. It's not true. It's not true. Now, what does this mean with nearly? I am not nearly as, okay, this is a very different meaning, okay? It's very common to say not nearly as with an adverb to give emphasis that we're not close. We're not close. No. I'm not nearly, we say it like that. I'm not nearly as old as my wife. That means my wife is much older than me. It's not true, but I am not nearly as old as my wife. So guys, not nearly gives emphasis, strong emphasis, that it's not close. Okay, let's look at another example. Now first, same meaning, positive sentence. Brendan is almost as tall or nearly as tall. So remember, nearly or almost plus as. Okay, almost as tall, nearly as tall. Okay, as his sister, same meaning. Okay. Now let's first look at almost. He isn't almost as tall as his sister. It's not true. It's not true. He is not almost as tall as his sister. Maybe he's taller than his sister, right? Maybe he's the same height. I don't know. But he isn't almost as tall as his sister. It's just not true. But Brendan isn't nearly as tall as his sister means Brendan's short, or his sister is much taller than him. Much taller. Okay, understand? Next, let's talk about at least. So at least plus as. Let's look at an example. I don't know how many people live in Chicago, but there must be, I'm guessing, but I'm really sure, there must be at least as many people there as in Los Angeles. Okay, what does this mean? Well, usually I tell students at least is like minimum, right? So Chicago, how many people? I don't know, but I know it's a big city. So I think the minimum population of Chicago is the same as the population of Los Angeles. So there are many people, right? So there are, so there and be. There must be minimum. At least, and comparing, as many. There must be at least as many people there, in Chicago, there, as in Los Angeles. Okay? All right. Another example, I want to be able to speak English at least as well as you. So you speak English well, and your level of English is the minimum level that I want to be able to speak. Of course, yeah, maybe I would like to speak English better than you, but your level is the minimum level. I want to be able to speak English at least as well as you. Now, another adverb we use with as is just. Now, before I talk about this, in a previous video, we talked about as meaning while. And we usually use as to mean while with long actions, right? As I was sleeping, my friend emailed me or something, right? Or as I was on the bus, so long time I was on the bus. As I was on the bus, I saw a car accident, right? It's not really common to use as with a short action, like a single action, a fast action. But it is common if we use just as. Now, just as means immediately. Immediately when. Immediately when. Another way to say this is as soon as. Maybe you've heard that. As soon as, right? As soon as means the same time, right after, jing jing, first, second action. So just as. Now, just as, we also say just when. It's the same. Just as and just when. Let's look at some examples. As I got on the bus, I noticed I had left my bus pass at home. Now here, as I got on the bus, this means when. It's more common to use as with long actions, but here we have as I got on the bus, right? A single fast action. It's okay, but usually we'd say when I got on the bus, when I got on the bus. But the second example is really popular English. As soon as, just when I got on the bus, just as I got on the bus, I noticed I had left my bus pass at home. Here we have the past perfect. I had left my bus pass because I'm talking about before I got on the bus, right? So just as I got on the bus, I get on the bus. Oh man, I forgot my bus pass. As soon as, right? Very fast, very soon after. Another example. As I picked up my phone, it started to ring. Okay. Usually we'd say when I picked up my phone, but maybe it was really like first second, right away, right? So just when I picked up or just as I picked up my phone, it started to ring. Now, another kind of adverb that we use with as is words like twice or 5 times, half. Actually, these words are like an adverb. Twice is an adverb. 3 times is, well, it's 2 words. It's not an adverb, but it works like an adverb. Half is an adverb. And we can say twice as, or 3 times as, or half as. And this is really useful when we're comparing, right? Let's look at some examples. He is a dangerous driver. He is always driving. Whoa. Okay, stop. Why are we using present continuous with always here? right? Usually always we use present simple. He always drives. He is always driving. We use always with present continuous to talk about something that is maybe normal for him, but not normal for everybody. Understand? He always drives fast. Okay, but he's always driving fast. That means he always does this, and that's strange. It's not normal. Like it's not normal for like people like us. Right? Do you drive fast? No, of course not. Do I drive fast? No, of course not. He's always driving fast. Let's continue. He's always driving twice as fast. Twice as fast as, and we can just say allowed. Twice as fast as allowed, right? So maybe the speed limit is 50. He's always driving 100, right? Twice as fast as allowed. Another example, why did they give you sometimes you go to a restaurant, right? And they give your friend a lot of fries and they give you not as many fries, right? Why did they give you so many fries? I only got half as many as you or as you did, right? So this is also very useful, a very useful way to use as. Now let's talk about certain phrases that we use with as. So just phrases, so 2 or 3 words that we use together, and together they have a special meaning. The first one is as for. This is really popular. As for is when you're talking, you're having a conversation, and you want to start talking about a new subject, but it's kind of related to what you're talking about now. Okay, so you want to start talking about a new thing that is connected or related to what you're talking about now. Okay, let's look at an example. I had a great time at the picnic. Okay, so I'm talking about a picnic, and I am the subject. I had a great time. So now I want to start talking about the picnic, but I want to talk about my daughter. It's related. I don't use this to talk about as for the soccer game yesterday, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't use this to talk about a completely new thing. We're just connecting this conversation we're connecting the subject of this conversation to something else. So as for my daughter who got stung by a bee, well, she had a really bad day. So I'm talking, of course, about my daughter at the picnic. Let's look at another example. Suzanne is going to check on our place. She's going to check on our place. You guys can understand that meaning. While we are away. As for our cats, okay, so why am I talking about the cats now? Oh, while we are away. Okay, so as for our cats, they're going to stay at Wendy's, right? So it's connected to what I'm talking about, while we are away. Okay, this is a really popular expression. Now, of course, you guys probably already understand this phrase, such as, of course, this means, for example, there were lots of delicious things to eat at the party, comma, such as what? What are some examples of the delicious things? Well, such as pizza and cake. I don't think I need to spend a lot of time on this phrase. I think you guys have learned this already. Another phrase is as usual. Actually, sometimes we say as per usual. It's the same meaning. Don't worry about the difference. As usual, as per usual, totally the same meaning. It's pretty easy to understand. It means this is usual. This is normal. So here I'm using it in a kind of a negative way. As per usual, it rained once again on my birthday this year. Once again just is often used to give emphasis. It happened again. It happened once again. So as per usual, as usual, same meaning. It rained again on my birthday this year. As such. Now, as such is kind of new English. I mean, not new, but maybe in the last 20 years, this has become more popular. As such means therefore, or so. And it's really, really common in academic English. It's a really good phrase to use in your writing or in academic speaking activities. Let's look at some examples. The candidate. Now, maybe you don't know this word, candidate. A candidate is somebody who is trying to win a contest, usually an election, right? When you choose the government, the people that are trying to win, they're called candidates. The candidate didn't seem to have any plans to bring down rising housing costs. So the candidate didn't have any plans to stop this problem. Therefore, comma, as such, as a result, same meaning, comma, he didn't receive many votes in the election, right? So you can use this to start a sentence. If you use it to start a sentence, use a comma. If you want to make these two sentences one sentence, you just need a semicolon, okay? Bring down rising housing costs, semicolon, as such, comma. He didn't receive many votes in the election. I had an awful cold all weekend. As such, I didn't go outside for almost 72 hours. So, it is more common in academic English. You hear this sentence is not really an academic situation, but sometimes we use it when we're speaking casually. As such, I didn't go outside for almost 72 hours. When we're speaking, probably we just say so, right? So I didn't go outside for almost 72 hours. Now, another phrase, you're gonna be surprised here. We can say as of yet. Now, what does as of yet mean? Well, it just means yet. Now, yet has one really popular meaning and one less popular meaning, like but. I don't know if you've studied that. We'll talk about that in a future video. But the meaning, not yet, right? Not yet. We can say as of yet. Let's look at some examples. As of yet, we haven't, a mistake there. We haven't received any snow this winter. So this is totally the same meaning. We haven't received any snow this winter yet. This is really popular English, actually. So as of yet, also we can just say as yet, totally the same meaning. As yet, we haven't received any snow this winter. Also, we could say we haven't received any snow this winter as of yet, or as yet. Another example, she has not called to apologize as of yet, or as yet, or yet. She has not called to apologize yet. I know, I'm sorry, there are many ways to say, but it's the same meaning. Relax, it's the same meaning. So you use this, right? I haven't eaten lunch as of yet. I haven't eaten lunch yet. Now, the next phrase is really important, and it's really popular. As long as. Okay, I'm sure you have heard this before. As long as. Now, there isn't only one meaning. So we're going to talk about more than one meaning. The first meaning is to express, to communicate duration, how long. Okay, so sometimes long is, of course, talking about time, right? I waited for you for a long time. So this meaning of long, okay, as long as. I will wait as long as it takes. So I will wait as long as it takes. Okay. So maybe, maybe my friend is at the dentist and I am waiting for my friend. And I don't have any plans, right? I'm okay. I'm not busy. So I will wait here. Don't worry. If it takes 30 minutes, no problem. I will wait 30 minutes. If it takes 1 hour, no problem. I'll wait 1 hour. I'll wait as long as it takes. Okay, understand? Now, of course, here, as long as it, don't say will, because this is kind of a time clause. This actually is a time clause, right? How long will you wait? I will wait as long as it takes. We use present simple when we're talking about time information with time clauses. Okay, another example. He won't forget what happened. How long? He won't forget what happened. He won't forget what happened as long as he lives. Understand? So his life, he will not forget what happened until he dies. I don't know if he will forget when he dies, but he will not forget what happened as long as he lives. Now, another meaning of as long as is totally different meaning, and it's super popular. It means on the condition that. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's like only if, okay? Yeah, go ahead. You can do something, but the only condition is do. Only if do. Okay, let's look at some examples. I'll lend you some money. Yeah, sure, I'll lend you some money. But the only condition, right? I will lend you money only if you can pay me back tomorrow. As long as you can pay me back tomorrow. No problem, right? This is the only condition. If you can pay me back tomorrow, sure, right? That's it. Only if you can pay me back tomorrow. Good things will happen to you as long as you continue to work hard, right? As long as you continue to work hard. So if you continue to work hard, good things will continue to happen, or good things will happen to you. But only if you work hard. Only if you continue to work hard. Okay? All right. Now, sometimes we use as long as to express a great length of time. So maybe I want to say a time, like a length of time, a duration. And my meaning is a super long time. This is a super long time. Example, some people have been waiting in line for 24 hours. 24 hours waiting in line? That's crazy. So emphasis, I want to give emphasis to 24 hours. I say, as long as 24 hours. Okay? To get the new iPhone. As long as 24 hours? That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, we can kind of the same meaning. We can say as much as, right? To talk about money. Or as many as, right? To talk about something else. So I've heard of people paying as much as $20. $20 for popcorn. Isn't that crazy? Emphasis. As much as $20 for popcorn at a movie. Another popular phrase we use with as is as well as. As well as. Now, as well as, one meaning is not only, but also. Now, what do you mean, Mark? Well, I have a sister as well as 2 brothers, right? I don't only have a sister, I also have 2 brothers, right? I have a sister as well as 2 brothers. And really this is kind of like and. I have a sister and 2 brothers. But a little bit of a different emphasis. I don't only have a sister, I also have 2 brothers. Right? The food at that restaurant is delicious, but it's not only delicious, It's also affordable. It's not crazy expensive. So it's delicious as well as affordable. Now, sometimes not only, but also is like in addition to what we already know. Okay, so we already know something about somebody or something, and I want to say, oh, this too. Some examples. Now, you guys know Samsung. Everybody knows Samsung, right? Now, Samsung makes electronics. Everybody knows this, right? But so something we already know, Samsung makes electronics. But in addition, also, so we're going to say, oh, this too. In Korea, Samsung makes excellent cars, automobiles, as well as plus the thing we already know, in addition to what we already know. So they make excellent cars, and oh yeah, they make electronics too. We know that already. We know that, as well as electronics. Now we know, of course, John can speak English. We know that, but he also speaks Spanish. John speaks Spanish as well as English, right? Not only English. Some more examples. She is really fit, right? She is really fit. She doesn't only work out, she also jogs daily. She works out at the gym as well as jogs daily. She also jogs daily. Jogs means run, right? Run. When we went to Cairo, we visited the pyramids as well as took a cruise on the Nile. So yeah, we didn't only visit the pyramids, we also took a cruise on the Nile. Now, sometimes there's a problem with as well as, right? Because in a previous video, I taught you as well as, okay, as plus an adverb or an adjective, as plus an adjective, right? But sometimes we use it to compare, right? So look at this example. Joanne plays the piano as well as sings. Okay. Does this mean that she plays the piano the same level that she sings? Or does this mean she plays the piano and also she sings? How do we know the difference? Okay. If your meaning is and, right? And. How would you write this sentence with and? Joanne plays the piano and sings, right? So, as well as sings, no she, just as well as sings, this means not only, but also. But look at this sentence, ready? Joanne plays the piano as well as, and remember when we talked about as something as, when we're comparing, we need a clause, right? We need a clause, or we can use a noun we talked about, right? So when we're comparing, Joanne plays the piano as well as, use a clause, as well as she, yes, we're repeating, as well as she sings. This means she plays the piano really, really well. The same level that she sings. The same level that she sings. Another example, on the field, Joe plays defense and offense. That's amazing. He plays both. So he doesn't only play defense, he also plays offense. So he plays defense as well as what? And offense, right? But if you want to say he plays defense well and he plays offense well, you need a clause, subject verb. On the field, Joe plays defense as well as he plays offense. This meaning is a comparison because the second part in orange we use a clause. To be just as well is a special phrase that means it was a good thing. It was a good thing. It is a good thing. It is just as well. It was a good thing. It was just as well. Let's look at some examples. It was a good thing that we arrived at the movie theater early. It was just as well that we arrived at the movie theater early. We ran into Mike and Sarah and chatted while we waited, as we waited. So it was a good thing. We decided to stay home, which was a good thing, because there was an accident on the highway and traffic was terrible. So we decided to stay home, which was just as well. It was a good thing because the traffic was terrible.